Sorry, I was eating my burger and my food is really good, really good. But I can't walk around because phone is plugged in. That's sad. I'll take a seat right here. Hold on, guys. All right, so I was watching news and whatnot, and they went to the lady that got beat up. Are all the people that are getting beat up randomly, or supposedly randomly? And then they made it a race thing. And I think that's just the race war should have been done years ago. Honestly, it almost was until they decided to make it a big thing again. And yeah, that's just to divide people, divide and conquer. That was the old administration's plan for the past, since I believe it was about, doesn't really matter, a long time ago, but in the 40s or 50s they started implementing. They devised it long before then, but that's besides the point too. But yeah, race is, I mean, how else are you gonna describe, if they have blonde hair and blue eyes, you say they have blonde hair, blue eyes, he's wearing this. Okay, what if there's a half Middle East, half French? I think the French are big, and no, they have dark hair. We'll go with Norwegian, have white hair or blonde hair. So, okay, let's say you got blonde hair, blue eye, and dark skin. How else are you supposed to explain the person other than say they have dark skin? They're white or they're dark. They're light or they're dark. They're white or they're black or brown, or how else are you supposed to give a proper you can't say that person over there if there's 100 people over there, you know? Yeah, it blows my mind. I was listening, I wasn't listening. I was at the bar and somebody was talking about how her kid said that girl over there, okay? And she was like, and she was a black girl, but she didn't say black because she doesn't see color. She just said that girl over there. And I respect that. That's 100%, 100%, but how else are you supposed to, if you're like I worked at IHOP. I was one of the only white people in the building. And I mean, come on. It's focusing on the minuscule things and blowing it into a huge race war. It's ridiculous in my book. In my book, it's just my opinion, though. I think if there are racists, 100%. The Nazis. I think it was. I mean, there's more than just the Nazis, but the Nazis are the most notorious ones. And J.D. DeLay, he was showing that the Nazis took over or surrounded a building and whatnot. And yeah, the Nazi regime is horribly corrupt. And they might come after me. I don't know, but hopefully they get taken down before that. But yeah, because hating somebody for any reason other than they deserve it, and color of skin does not deserve it. Actually, do you know what the color of skin actually is? Besides pigmentation, all that good jazz, it's PABA. PABA is in the skin that produces the melatonin and whatnot. And it tells the body how it breaks down the sun particles into energy. So if PABA has evolved from Africa, where it's sunny like all the time, instead of Washington, where it's rainy and cloudy, or Seattle, wherever. But yeah, I guess that would be about Washington. That is Washington, Seattle, Portland, Oregon. I don't remember. But sorry, I'm not memorizing all my states like I should. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying. PABA breaks down the sun's particles into what creates melatonin. So if you have more PABA, and you can buy PABA, It helps fight sunburn, it helps tan, all that good jazz. If you want a natural tan without burning, take paba. It's great. That's how I went from burning every time I went outside to actually being able to get a tan. But yeah, evolution. People that evolved, grew up, their ancestors are from in areas that had more sun, yeah, they're going to be a different color. And, you know, depending on the ozone of that area, which at that time would depend on volcanic eruptions and water density, the geographical landmarks instead of pollution and stuff, because they didn't really have pollution back then, according to our modern history, at least. And so that would take into account all that jazz, and that's why we have different colored people. They're all the same race. They're all human. But we're all human. But yeah. So I don't know. I guess I just don't understand it. I understand the psychology behind it, but what's up? What's up? I saw that one. Normally they don't let me see my chats. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, I'm just rambling about how crazy racism is and how it's so overblown out of proportion. And racism is horrible, yes, but that goes back to the 0.1% of people that are actually racist that go out purposely to kill people because of race. And then the 10% that are maybe violent but not kill, and then the other 20% that are like, ooh, stay away from him. And then you got 60% of the world that could care less, you know. Racism is wrong 100%. I'm not saying it is. Oh, you said yeah. I thought you said yo. Yeah, racism is 100% wrong, man. It's I'm just saying it's been ingrained into our system to cause a cultural divide. It's divide and conquer. So if people can move past the psychological programming that we've been programmed for years now, then we can get to the point where we look at everybody as an individual and think of an individual person as people instead of as masses and ratios and all that good jazz. You know, percentages, but I use percentages. Ooh. All right, but I'll talk to y'all later. Later.